Hello, good morning, gorgeous souls, and welcome to this session on the Alchemy of Dreams. It's the second part. The first part is on Instagram if you want to catch it, and if not, this will be wonderful in and of itself. I am Diane Bell. Many of you know me already. I am so excited to be here. If you are somebody who is in my world a lot, please say hi because it's always so lovely to see you and to know you're here. If you're coming on live, please say hello so I can make sure I can see the comments. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay so that I can see that you saw this and answer any questions that might come up for you. And also, if you're new in my world, if this is the first time that you're doing one of these things with me, please also say hi. I would love to welcome you into this world, our world. So we are in the Female Artist Rising group today, which feels kind of exciting because I haven't done anything in here for a while live, but this is a very special group to me. This group was created, Layla, hello. This group was created, Jenny V, hi beautiful. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're well. So this group was created a year ago when I did this series of classes, the Female Artist Rising classes, when we were about to do the Creatrix Code. I feel like this is kind of weird. I'm in a hotel, and so I'm not in my home or anywhere, so I just very quickly tried to set this up. Christiane, hello. Elena, hello. Maddie, hello. Currently in Thailand, we're jealous. Saskia, oh my gosh. Saskia, I just saw your message, and I'll get back to you afterwards. But it's so lovely. We're actually live together. Can't believe it. Frankie, hello. Jenny V, you did get up here early in the morning. Oh my gosh, because I saw you and Claire having an interchange about, are we going to get up at 5:30 in the morning for this? You're up, you're amazing. Christina, oh, we're in here. Okay, you're writing somebody. So welcome to this session. This kind of like spontaneously decided to have this session. So what happened was, last week when we were planning the Alchemy of Dreams, I thought just for a change, I'm going to do it on the Instagram just for fun to see what that's like. Because, you know, in life, you just do things, you get into patterns and habits. And for a while now, my pattern and habit has been to, do a masterclass. I create a Facebook group for it. We do it in the Facebook group. And I thought, why don't I just mix it up and do it in the Instagram for a change and see what that's like? And there were definitely some good things about it. I kind of liked it in many ways, but there were some things that didn't work so well about it. Always the case when you do something new. And then also there was a little bit of a problem that a lot of people seemed to think it was going to be in a Facebook group because that's how I normally do it. And then they were very confused it was in an Instagram. So I thought just to like paper over the cracks and make everything great, let's do a part 2. And actually it came to me that there were more things to share just about what we covered in part 1. If you know me, hello Christina, you'll know that I don't script these things. And it's funny, someone was talking to me about this recently. How do you plan your lives? How does it work? There was a time when I would like write out the whole thing, that like everything that I was going to say. I'd write it out like an essay, like write out all the things, and I would rehearse it. If you were at any of my early lives a few years ago, you will remember this phase for me. I've got to the place now where I don't do that, where I really write down like the 5 main points that I want to cover, and then I just riff. I find out what happens. And what's interesting is that things always come through. It's not always what I expect, but I just trust that it's always going to be perfect. And so things just come through. On Monday, the part 1 of this, a whole bunch of stuff came through that I wasn't really expecting to be part of this conversation, which was totally fascinating and great. But I do feel that there is more to talk about with the actual process. We got very much into the philosophy and the sort of big context of everything, which was great. But what I'd love to do today is actually talk more about the integration of the action, of the implementation of how we make our dreams come true. So not the philosophical, big, broad context of it, but the actual how do we make this happen. So that's why I decided to do this part 2, which wasn't part of the original plan. But thank you for joining me here live. And I say it's beautiful that we're back in this group. There will be another session sometime next month, I suspect, in this group in preparation for the Creatrix Codes, which is coming in September. And the Creatrix Codes is this specifically for women program that I share that's really about tapping into our true power as women. So there's something that's going to be magical, and I'm sure that we'll do something, a little thing in here for free earlier in the month. So watch out for that. But let's get on to our conversation for today, which is the Alchemy of Dreams. Let's take a moment actually just to really come into this session right now. We're all in different places around the world. I love it when I do it this time of the day. Obviously, Australian friends are able to join us, friend in Thailand. Love it. But let's just take a few moments and just come into the moment. I don't know what time of day it is for you and what's been going on. So close your eyes for a moment and just take a few deep breaths. And just let yourself settle into the here and now. Just whatever's been going on today or whatever has to go on later today, just let it go. Let it just drift away. Just untouch from it. And then really bring your awareness into the here and now, into this moment, knowing there's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. That you can relax your body. That you can soften your mind, soften your face, and let yourself just open gently to being in this circle together right now. Feeling the connection between us all. Knowing that you are supported, that you're safe, that you're always being guided, that you're here for a reason. You found your way to this circle in this moment for a reason. It's not by accident. Trusting that whatever it is that you need to hear is going to come through today. And just feeling the energy of together we rise. Everything is possible. And then gently open your eyes, and in this energy, let us begin. So in part 1 of the Alchemy of Dreams, and if you haven't seen it, it's still available on my Instagram account. You can go to the Instagram account and you'll find it in the profile grid, or you can go into the little playback of videos and you'll find it there. This is the Alchemy of Dreams. But in the part 1, what I shared was that there's a 5-step process to dream alchemy. And I'm going to just recap it here, and then we're going to go into it in a little bit more depth. The first step is desire. Oh, Jenny, you're lighting a green candle. Beautiful. I wish I had a candle. I'm in a hotel, so I don't think candles are allowed. So thanks for lighting your candle. The first step of this process is alignment with desire. And it's knowing what it is that we dream of, being clear about it, owning it, claiming it, saying it out loud, visualizing it. Like, this is what I want. If we don't know what we dream of, if we're putting a cap on our dreams, if we're limiting our dreams, it's going to be very hard to materialize them. We have to know what it is that we desire. And it's not that we have to know it. I mean, sometimes what we get is maybe even bigger and better than what we thought we desired. But we have to have a clear vision of where we're heading and where it is that we want to go. Otherwise, we don't get there. The second part of this process is that you need to become an energetic match for what you desire. And this is the part of the process that I think most people miss. And it's the reason most people don't get what they desire. And it's the reason most people get very frustrated on the path. Because most of us have learned from an early age that in order to get what we want, it takes hard work and grit and determination. And we sort of think that that's the way, that it's just all about knowing what to do and then doing it. But that's not it. As long as you're not an energetic match for what you desire, you're always going to be repelling it on some level. And understanding this is a complete game changer in our lives, because when you understand that without being an energetic match for what you desire, you're never going to achieve it. You're never going to keep it. You might be able to, through hard work and determination, break through that door, but you won't stay in there and it won't be pleasant. So this is like the most important part, really, in some sense, of the process to understand for the alchemy of dreams, for the magic of taking the idea that we have in the first stage into the actual reality, so that something that's like a vision in your mind and it becomes actually your real life, something that you can experience, smell, touch, taste, that you have in the 3D world. In order for that to happen, there has to be this stage, which is becoming an energetic match for what you desire. The third step of the process is the strategy and implementation piece of the puzzle. And it is an important part of the piece. They're all important. You can't have the alchemy of dreams without all of these things. It is not merely a question of becoming an energetic match for what we desire. If it was, all we have to do is sit on the couch and visualize what we want all day and be in the energy of it all day and it would come to us. But it doesn't work like that. We are living in a 3-dimensional world, and we have to be in that world and take action in that world in order to achieve the results that we desire. So if there's something that we want to make real in our lives, we're going to have to do things. I don't believe, and I do not subscribe to the hard work and hustle mentality at all. I think that's a story that we tell ourselves. And the truth is that we get what we believe. If we believe it's going to be hard work and hustle in order to make our dreams come true, then that's what we will experience. But I don't believe it to be true at all. And so it's never what I've experienced. My experience is always, it gets to be easy. It gets to be joyful. It gets to be fun. And because that's my belief, then that's what I experience. But that doesn't mean that it gets to be easy, it gets to be joyful, it gets to be fun, means I don't do anything. It's not that. When I had the dream of selling my screenplay, the first one I wrote, I couldn't have sold it just by staying at home. It's not all easy and fun and flow. It's also making big moves. It's also taking big risks. It's getting your credit card out and hiring a car and driving to Cannes even though you have no idea what you're doing. And telling people you're a screenwriter even though you've only written one screenplay. So it takes courage and it takes getting out there and doing things. Every single dream does. Right now, just before I came on this call, I was on the phone again with this company. I'm trying to move my money out of America to Spain. You think this would be a simple thing to do. Like, it's your money in your bank account. I can't even tell you how many hours have been spent on this conundrum. Also, that we can avoid the possible outcome, which is getting on an airplane and going back to America to make it happen from an actual bank branch there. It's crazy. But I'm sharing this to say there's like difficult steps. There's action in the real world. Yes, I want to buy my dream home in Spain, but it's not like it just happens by me sitting on the couch and visualizing it. There's things that need to happen. So strategy, planning, and implementation, essential, crucial. And this phase can be a big, long phase. These things, when we talk about this process, it's not necessarily like this, then this, then this, then this, by the way. So it's not necessarily like we have the desire and then you become an energetic match and then you make a plan and implement it and then you do this and then you do that. It's not necessarily like it goes sequentially. There's sort of like an interplay between them. So becoming an energetic match is something that's constantly being sustained as you do the strategy and implementation. But it's absolutely essential if you want to make your big dreams come true that you make a plan. You decide, okay, this is what I want. How could I get there? What's my next step? And you don't necessarily know all the steps. You never really know all the steps for a big dream. It'd be impossible to know them all. But you have some sense of like, okay, what's my next step? What do I need to do next in order to make this happen? Make the step. Who do I need to be? Do the work of the inner work, becoming the energetic match. How do I hold the energy even when things aren't working? And what will happen when we go through the implementation of our strategy, because usually we have an idea of like, okay, this is how I could do it. As we go through the implementation, always we hit challenges. Always. And setbacks and things that look like failures. And we try to make something happen. It doesn't work. And this is where that thing of the energy becomes so important through it. The fourth step in this process is the surrendering. And it's such an important step and it's such an important thing to understand. And again, it's not necessarily that it happens sequentially. You could think of the surrender almost happening in the beginning, but at times on this journey, you will need to surrender in order to become the total match for it to happen. When we are overly attached to the vision that we have and crucially, how it's going to happen, we block out the receiving of it. We block it out from happening. You may have experienced this before. For instance, like you have some goal. I'd be interested if anybody here has, experienced this, where you have a goal and you're working really hard and you have that feeling like, I'm doing everything. Why is it not working? Has anybody experienced that feeling where you're just like, I'm doing, like, there's nothing, I can't think of another thing I can do. I'm doing all that I can do, and it's still not working. And I think typically, if this is the situation that we find ourselves along the path to making our dreams come true, so true, I did it when I moved to New York City for fashion. Yeah, okay. I think typically if we find that we're in that situation where it's like, I am doing everything, and we're getting frustrated because it's not working, the thing that we need to really lean into is the surrendering. What if it is working and we just don't have proof of it yet? What if it's working and we don't have proof of it yet? Yes, I had this feeling, doing everything possible and nothing happened. Exactly. And so the surrender part is so important, because if we don't understand the surrender, we will typically get frustrated, burn out, we start to think it's just not meant for us, there's something wrong with us, and we'll drop the whole thing. So surrender for me, and surrender is a strange word, because I think for a lot of us it's really, it feels like, I have to let go of it. So, surrendering the how, surrendering the outcome, surrendering the results. Like, I want this thing, but now you're telling me to not want it. And for me, very clearly, surrender is not about not wanting what you want. It's not about, I don't care. Trust and surrender require so much faith, but we must. Exactly. Good morning, Lee. Welcome. It's not about saying that I don't care if this thing that happens or not. It's tapping into a deeper level of trust that it is happening, that it is coming, and that maybe it's taking longer than we want it to, and that maybe we can't see any evidence of it at all, but we're going to surrender to the truth that it's all coming, like everything that we desire is coming to us. And this is hard because many of us don't trust that. It's like, but maybe it's not. What if it is? And what I know to be true about going after big dreams is, for a long time when you're going after it, you have no proof that it's working. There's no evidence that it is working. You're going after this big dream and you're taking action and you're doing the inner work of becoming an energetic match for it, and you understand what that is, and you're showing up every day. But 1 year later, 2 years later, there's still nothing to show for it. There's no proof. Maybe there's been little dribbles here or there, little things, but nothing substantial. And it's easy for us to, at this point, just think there's something wrong with me. It's not working. There's some reason that it's not meant for me. But this is when we're trying to control the timeline. We're trying to control the timeline. We haven't surrendered it because we're sort of working on the basis of, I need it now. If it doesn't work now, it means it's not working. I can give you so many examples from my own life, and I suspect you have so many examples of your own, where you're working, you have this big dream, and it just feels like you're going after it, and you're doing all the things. You are being an energetic match. You are taking action. You're taking inspired action, aligned action. You are doing all the things, but you're not getting it. right? And it's just like, I'm not getting it. But the thing is, you're not surrendering it because you're feeling like you should have it now. So surrender to me is often very intertwined with timelines. Because quite often it's like, even though we think we're not trying to control it, we're still trying to control the timeline. We get very attached to our timeline and when we think things should happen. Like, this should have happened already. But I've told, for instance, the story of when I had the dream of getting into the Sundance Screenwriters Lab. Big dream for me for many years. And I submitted, and I submitted again, and I wrote another script, and I submitted again. 8 years. It took 8 years from when I first wanted to do this thing to actually getting there. It was 8 years. And along that time, so often I was just like, oh my God, if it's not this script, it's never. I mean, this script is so good, and why wouldn't they, and all the things. And then it would be like, no. Trust the timeline. Surrender. So when we talk about surrender, I think one of the biggest things that we are surrendering is timeline. Because as long as we're trying to control the timeline, and it's like, if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen. This is one of the worst beliefs that we can have. The least helpful beliefs. If you're somebody that often says that, like, if it hasn't happened yet, it's probably not going to happen. Surrender that belief. Because it doesn't mean that at all. Instead, choose to believe everything is happening in divine timing. Everything is unfolding for my highest best at all times. I can trust that what I desire is coming to me and is meant for me. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a desire in my heart. I don't control the time. I don't need to control the time. I can trust that this is a beautiful journey and that everything is unfolding perfectly. And for me, that's kind of what surrender looks like. Christina said, surrender feels so good and freeing. Yes, it creates the quantum space, the vacuum for the desire to flow in. Exactly. And that's the thing where we just hand over and we say, I trust. I always thought if nothing happened, it was because I still had things to heal inside me. So Layla, that's a story that we can tell ourselves, right? But you can have big dreams and not be fully healed. I mean, you can have big dreams happen. You can have the result happen today. So if you had the story that you don't have to be perfectly healed in order to have good things happen, then that's how it will be. Do you see that? So it's really like getting to choose in that, again, the story that we tell and the belief that we tell ourselves. Because if we have the belief that we have to be perfect in order to have our dreams, then we have to be perfect. But what if you don't have to be perfect? I mean, there's plenty of people who have a lot of healing to do who are getting a lot of their dreams fulfilled. So it's not the thing. But if we have this belief, it will block it. If we have the belief that, I have to be somebody else in order for my dreams to happen. I have to be perfect somehow in order for my dreams to happen. I have to heal this. I have to get slimmer. I have to be this person. I have to be smarter. I have to, be more educated, whatever it is. As long as we believe these things, then we'll have to make those things happen. But it's not true. We could also believe that I can be me and great things happen. Good morning, Susan. So happy you're here. Schenectady. It's the funniest word ever. But I love that movie, Schenectady, New York. Amy, I'm so happy you're here. Oh my gosh, I saw you post the other day about your play, and I was just like, I've missed you, Amy. I'm happy to connect. I find that dreams sometimes quietly manifest in the background. You only see the evidence later when you look back. Must have faith. Exactly, Amy. And it is like, if you think about the dream, it's like you plant the seed into the soil, right? You push it down and you water the soil. And sometimes it takes a long time for that seed to pop its head over the ground. Does it mean that nothing is happening? No, it just takes the time that it takes. But often we're so impatient. We're planting the seeds and then we're like, it's not grown. And so we're pulling it out. We're planting new seeds. And I'm like, it's still not growing. I'm pulling these ones out and I'm planting new ones again. There was nothing wrong with the seeds. There's nothing wrong with the soil. There's nothing wrong with the water. There's something wrong with our patience. There's something wrong with our wisdom and understanding that sometimes these things take time. And we don't know until we look back. And then we're like, timelines are so my block right now with my Fashion Week show in a month. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Doesn't the universe know I'm a screenwriter now? Great insight. Okay, good. I grew up very near to the capital. Oh my gosh. So surrender looks like doing everything you need to do for as long as the universe needs you to until it works. Yeah. It does, Susan. What I would add to that is having total faith that what you desire is coming to you. And I think that's one of the hardest part, but that's the part of surrender, because it's not like, I don't care if it comes. It's like, of course it's coming. Of course it's coming. It's certainly not, I don't care if it comes or not. It's just though, I don't need to worry about it coming, so I can surrender it because I know that it is coming. I read somewhere that we are time. Okay, yes. I love that, Lee. I haven't read that book by Gay Hendricks. I'll need to check it out because I loved The Big Leap. So let me have a look at that. I woke up with a lot of dreams I was going to do my fashion show. I just recently accepted I gained weight, but this was me. And absolutely, Jenny V. And this is it. These are the stories that we tell ourselves, because sometimes we tell ourselves the story that in order to be successful or in order to have this dream or that dream come true, we have to be somebody different than we are. We have to change something about ourselves. It's not true at all. When it comes to things like our weight or what we look like or how much we've learned, it doesn't matter. It's stories. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So the fifth part of the process is the receiving, right? Receiving the dream. And the reason it's so important to talk about this actually as part of the process is I think this is where a lot of people get tripped up. I see people all the time who actually have done a great job with 1 to 4. And now they're getting through the door. I mean, the door has opened for the dream. And then they stumble and they close the door themselves. I suspect everyone here has done that at some point in their lives in some way, shape, or form. Like something big was about to happen. You had some opportunity. Something was going on and it was like, oh my gosh. And you were there. And then you sort of wobbled and you didn't walk through. Have you ever done that? Oh my God. So many times. So many times. And I've witnessed this in so many of my clients, so many of my students. It's like, you're there. Like you have this opportunity. Somebody wants to read your script. Somebody, you've launched, you've created an amazing online course and you've launched it, but now you suddenly get the wobbles about actually delivering it. I mean, all these situations. I had an anxiety attack and I couldn't get through. Yeah. And this will happen in so many different ways. And sometimes people actually walk through the door and it's after they've gone through the door, they're like, oh, hell no. And they run back out. I mean, this is not uncommon. So being willing to receive it, being able to receive it is so important. And as we talked about in part 1, it's like practicing being a good receiver is one of the ways that we can ensure that when we do get these opportunities, when things start clicking into place, that we are able to receive. Now, to me, the keys to receiving are essentially this. The first part of receiving is believing that you're worthy of what it is that you want to receive. And for so many of us, this is a big, it sounds little, but it's actually a big thing. Right? Am I worthy of receiving it? Like if I wanted to hand you $20,000 right now, I just write a check and I'm like, here, I just want to give you $20,000. How would you respond? Would you be like, thank you, this is amazing? Would you be like, what's the catch? You're like, I can't take that. I can't possibly take that. Are you out of your mind? I can't take a $20,000 check from you. So we have to practice being good receivers. Many of us as well, right? Beyond the worthiness question. The worthiness is a big one for so many of us. It's like, I don't feel worthy. Elam, hello, I'm so happy you're here. So many of us don't feel worthy of things. We're like, you couldn't possibly give me that. Like, I can't take it. I can't accept it. It's too much. Right? So we have that problem. But another problem is that we fear bad things are going to happen if we do take it. We fear bad things will happen if our dreams do come true. We fear that people might not love us as much. And these are deep-rooted fears. Again, these are things that, often we are not aware of these in our conscious brain. Like, this is not like you consciously sitting up thinking, oh, if I achieve this big dream, my friends won't be my friends anymore. My husband won't be able to handle it. My parents will freak out if I earn more money than them. For many of us, it's not conscious. It's deeply ingrained, though. One of the biggest fears for every human being is rejection by the tribe. This is just something that's part of our DNA. Obviously, it's part of our coding, is how we survive. But this can be one of the biggest things that holds us back on this path, because when we're getting ready to receive what it is that we want, there's often a very deep primal fear that it's going to alienate us from the people we love most. Because not all people are going to be happy about it. Some people are going to be threatened by it. So the worthiness, and also then the piece of the puzzle, which is, am I deep down, is there fear of bad things happening as a result of me getting this thing? We also have fears around ourselves for this. It's not just about other people, like, oh, how will they be able to handle it? It's also, well, how will I be able to handle it? So all the triggers will kick in as we get close to receiving the thing. It will be like Trigger City. Trigger City. With, but I'm no good with money. And I'm not responsible enough to do that. And what if they all realize that I'm not really that talented? And what if they realize that I'm not that good? And what if they find out that I was really an asshole to that guy years ago? And those fears, the fears of being seen, the fears of stepping up, will stop us from walking through. So those are the 5 main steps of this process of dream alchemy, of making something that is a vision in your mind into your reality. Desire, becoming an energetic match for what you desire, making a plan and implementing it, surrendering your control, surrendering the timeline, trusting, absolute, magical trust that what you desire is coming to you and it is happening. And then receiving, being a good receiver, being open to receiving, knowing that you are worthy of what it is that you dream of, and knowing that nothing bad will come of it. Trusting there's no other shoe to drop. Trusting that the people who are meant to be in your life will continue to be in your life. And that you can handle it, whatever it is. That you can expand and grow so that you can hold whatever it is that is unfolding for you. And with these 5 things, everything is possible. Any dream that you have is possible. There's nothing that you cannot be, do, and have if it's your true heart's desire. And I always say your true heart's desire because it's not that you can be, do, or have anything. I cannot be a marathon runner. Well, I probably could be a marathon runner, but I can't be like an Olympic marathon runner, let's just say. Why? Because it's not my true heart's desire. I have zero desire to run a marathon. Zero. I have zero desire to be a fast one. It's just why would I care about that? And so we have to be that's the beginning of it all, is the true heart's desire. What does your heart truly desire? those are the things that you can be, do, and have without limitation. There's absolutely no limits in those things if it's a true heart's desire. Because those things are planted in your heart for a reason. And this is why I find it so fascinating in our lives that we all have different dreams. We all have different desires. And this is the beauty of the design of this universe, our abundant universe. That we don't all want the same thing. I mean, can you just feel into how marvelous that is right now? So your desires are in your heart for a reason. And I think one of the hardest things and one of the biggest things in this journey is to really be able to attune ourselves to what we truly desire. Not what we think we should desire, not what everybody has told us we should desire, not what we've been conditioned to be desiring, not what we think we can achieve, what we think is realistic or practical for us to desire, but actually, genuinely what we truly desire. Because once we know that, there is such an incredible power in that. You get to own it, you get to claim it, you get to say, that is what I want. I want that. And the first question after you say, I want that, should always be, who is the version of me who has that? Who is that? And that's the step of becoming the energetic match to receiving it. Who's the version of me? It's not what do I do? How do I do it? So once you know what you want, for most of us, the question we've been conditioned to asking is, how do I do it? How do I get that? What are the steps? Show me how to do it. I want to make a movie. Show me how to get the money. I want to scale my business to 6 figures. Show me the plan. How do I do it? But the question we should be asking is not how do I do it, but who do I need to become? Who is the version of me who has this thing, who can do this thing, who is this thing? And if you start from there, and that's why I put that as number 2 rather than number 3 in the process, becoming the energetic match. If you start from there and then build the strategy and implementation from there, you're harnessing the alchemy. You're harnessing the magic to making the dream come true. Okay. Layla said, funny, I just wrote a comment just to tell, I see I have things to heal. And I always told myself that this is what makes my dreams come true yet. And you bring to life that's a belief. Yeah. Wow. However, I've noticed that my script I wrote several years ago needs to be rewritten to be close to what I really want. And I tell myself that this may be also why nothing is happening. Time to rewrite my script too, and that goes hand in hand with my healing. So everything that we tell ourselves about why we can't have the thing, or why we can't be the thing, or why we can't do the thing, is just a story. It's always a story, Layla. And that doesn't mean that the script, for instance, with scripts and things, for us to sell anything, whether it's a script, whether it's an online course, whether it's ourselves as a coach or mentor, for us to sell anything, we have to be 100% energetically behind it. I can't sell something if I'm not sure it's any good, because it's not going to work. The energy is not there. So if I have a script and it's not, and I feel it's not good enough yet, I'm not going to be able to sell it. But I can have a script that is wildly imperfect and sell it because I believe it's good enough. And my passion is my energy is what creates that sale. And this is true no matter what you're selling. I did a program recently on the art of selling, the heart and art of selling. And if you're interested in that, you can still purchase it and do the replay. And this is what it was all about. It's like, and it doesn't matter what you're selling in life. You have to be able to get behind it. There's no bar. There's no sort of like exterior objective bar in life that in order to achieve this, it has to be of this standard. And if it's not, it will never happen. What matters really, it's about our energy. So if you believe it needs to be rewritten, and then it needs to be rewritten. But if you believed it was good enough, it's good enough. It's our choice. Yes, I'll give you the money. Oh, no, yeah. I remember you said that in your presentation. I just sent my screenplay for the Vantage Point out, but having worked on it after it wasn't shortlisted from the Nichols. Yeah, and I know, I feel like if you are a screenwriter and you're on this call, some of you will be dealing with the Nichols thing right now. I've seen in my Twitter and my Facebook, it's just a light with people either celebrating or being sad. And this is that point of the faith. You know, that if you're not a screenwriter, the Nichols is a big grant that's awarded every year to some screenwriters. And it's a big deal. You know, if you get it, it's like, oh, you know, you'll get representation and your career will be lit up. And if you don't, you know, it just feels like, But no matter what path we're on in life and whatever dream we're going after, the truth of it is we're going to get some results that we don't want on the way to getting what we do. And what we make of those moments is what will ultimately determine whether we achieve our dream or not. Because if we get the rejection and we fold up and we're like, oh, well, that means that it wasn't meant for me and I'm no good and it's proof that I'm no good. I've just got proof that I'm not talented enough. And I guarantee you a large number of the people who just got their Nichols that they didn't get forward, that's what they have felt right now. It's like proof. Okay, I give up on this dream because it's obviously not working. Wrong way. If it's really your dream, and this is that thing of knowing your true dreams, if it's truly your dream to sell your script or to make your film or whatever it is for you, to get into the Sundance Screenwriters Lab, then what you need to do, no matter what happens, is just realign with the dream and trust. And it's just like, it's not my time yet. This wasn't the thing for me right now. And if you keep going, you will get where you want to go. It took me 8 years for the Sundance Screenwriter Lab. Got there. I've helped today since the new version wakes up. I recently helped raise money for theater. Yes. I changed career and way of life. So I think changing, and I think, Alam, you brought up an important thing. There is often an evolution of our dreams. And this is not uncommon and it's not unhealthy. Like what you wanted 5 years ago might not be what you want now. I don't believe that they are necessarily fixed and it's like they'll never change. Although sometimes I feel like the dreams are like an onion. Like you thought that that's what you wanted, but then when you peel, you realize there's another layer and it was something underneath that. And then you peel that and it was something underneath that. And you peel that and it was something underneath as you achieve your dreams. So it's not necessarily the case that there's like one dream and it's one thing for the rest of our lives. And sometimes we'll be doing something and it's working great, but we realize it's not really what we wanted. And that there's something else. And that was a stepping stone to the other thing. Because that's what I feel often in life right now. For myself, obviously, there was a period in my life where my big dream was all around screenwriting and filmmaking. All my dreams were around that. And now I feel very clear that those were stepping stones to a bigger dream. And my biggest dream is helping people be free, to be an example of what it is to be free and to live a good, free life and to help other people do that. And free to be who they want to be, free to make the money they want to make, free to live where they want to live, free to make the art they want to make, free. So that's my obsession. And now I sort of feel like everything that was about writing films and making scripts and all that stuff was actually a stepping stone for me to get to this point. And it's like I said about the layers of the onion. It's like, oh, I really want to get into the Sundance Screenwriters Lab. Peel that off. Well, it wasn't really about that ultimately. It was about me being able to show myself that I could make dreams come true so that I can live it and be an example of it and teach it to others. Right now in my life, and at this moment, many of you know, I'm in this in-between stage. We left the United States 5 weeks ago. I'm in Scotland just now. I'm in Scotland. I can prove it. The Edinburgh Castle is right behind me. I don't know if you'll be able to see this because it will be like crazy light. Let me see if I can do that. I'm trying to change the light. That's the castle. Can you see the castle out the window? That's the castle. So I'm in Edinburgh just now in a hotel. And it's just over 1 week until we go to Spain. We go there a week tomorrow. We're moving into an Airbnb for a month. We see it. It's real. There's a real castle outside. So I think it's worth telling this story because this is an example really of this process in action. 4 years ago, I decided, and it was exactly pretty much 4 years ago, I was not in a good place in my life. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a 1-year-old. I'd been totally just in baby mode for a year. Those of you who know. And before that, in pregnancy mode. And financially, I was not in a good place. I was just frustrated with my work as a screenwriter and a filmmaker. I had a job. I was writing. I'd got this job adapting a novel, and I just wasn't happy with it. I just wasn't happy with it. I was just having a bad experience with it. And I was suddenly I was really questioning, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? And there was obviously a lot of anxiety and stress around that because I devoted so many years to doing that. And having my second child really brought home to me too that I was just sick of being broke all the time, financially not having money. I'd made it one of my big stories in life that I didn't care about money. It was just, since I was a teenager, that was my thing. I don't care about money. I just care about being free. I just want to I want to be an artist, and I just want to be a yoga person, and I'm spiritual, and spiritual people don't care about money, and artists don't care about money. We care about creativity, and we care about just, things that are more important than money. Bankers care about money, and they're horrible, boring people. I don't care about money. I'm not one of them, right? And that was totally my conditioning. And so even all the years of me having success as a screenwriter and a filmmaker, I never really made much money. When I did make it, I'd make big chunks of money, and then it would just disappear. Because my internal setting, I now understand this completely, my internal setting was to not have money. So I would just always when it came, it would just go as fast as it came. And so it was always that feast or famine kind of thing, right? And now I was in a period of famine. And I was just I'm just sick of it. I have 2 children. I want to be able to do things. I want to, what I'm doing right now, I want to bring them to Edinburgh and take them to the tattoo. If you don't know what the tattoo is, check out my Instagram stories and you'll get the whole lowdown. I took them last night. I still don't know why it's called the tattoo. It's this big thing in Edinburgh. So I want to be able to do things like that and not worry about it. And I want to be able to live where I want to live, and I want to live in a nice house. I don't want to live in just what I can afford. And I want to just feel free around money in a way that I've never felt before. And that was 4 years ago. And at that time, my husband and I, there was very little money coming in. He'd gone out and got a job, a job. So he was working for the Denver City, but it was a regular paycheck, and it was health insurance, which is so crucial in America. And so we were so grateful for that. But it was just but it wasn't a lot of money. It literally just kind of paid the rent and not much more. And so at that point, I just had this dream. I was I am going to change my money story. That was my dream 4 years ago. I'm going to change my money story. And I knew, looking back on my life, that I had changed my story around creativity. I knew this incredible power that we do have when we consciously apply it to create the life of our dreams. It's how I sold my script. It's how I moved to LA effortlessly. It's how I got my film to Sundance. Did so many things. I knew this. But weirdly, I had never applied it to this area of my life because I had clung on so strongly to my story that I didn't care about money, that it was not part of my dreams. I was I don't care about money. I don't want to, But now I decided that my dream was to have financial freedom on my own terms. And I think this is one of the things for me. I was deeply conditioned to think that making money meant sacrifice, hard work, not having time for your family. I don't know if you grew up with any of these kinds of ideas. If you want to make money, it's going to be you don't see your family. I used to joke about rich people. You look at their houses and you'd be such a beautiful house. Shame they'll never be there to enjoy it because they'll always be working so they can pay the mortgage, right? Great that they've got that lovely little reading nook, but they'll never sit in and read a book because they won't have time because they're so busy. And for me, the reason, I'd grown up seeing my father, like, basically living that. He earned more and more money as I got older as a child, but it was at a big expense. It was like, he was that person. You're making a ton of money, but you have no life of your own. So my dream suddenly became to make money. And it also was like, but in my way. And, it's not on this, like, I can't do it that way. And I realized the first step to really achieving a dream, and I want to give this to you, right? Like, wherever you are in your life right now and however far-fetched your dream might seem, and you might have a dream that just seems so audacious and so crazy, and it's like, is this even possible? I mean, is it impossible for me at the age of 46 to change my financial story? I'm 46 years old, I have nothing, right? Like, is it possible that I could change that, really? Or am I just crazy? And so I knew that in order to do this, and this is what I want to offer for you with your dreams, I had to be willing to see things differently, and I had to be willing to do things differently. And I knew this from when I set out on my screenwriting and filmmaking journey. And wherever you are and whatever your dream is, it's the same thing. The version of you that you are right now, you are where you are because of what you've believed and who you've been in the past. In order to become the person who gets that big dream, you're going to have to change. This is one of the hardest things for us because we want to, like, get our dream, but we don't want to change. Right? We don't want to let go of who we've been until this moment. We don't want to let go of our beliefs. Don't tell me rich people aren't greedy. They are greedy. Don't tell me they're not shallow. They're shallow. Don't tell me money's not evil. It's evil. Right? And for you, whatever it is that you have your dream about, that you're not there yet, there's some stories that you are telling yourself right now. They've got you where you are, but they're not going to get you there. Are you willing to see them differently? Are you willing to see things differently? Are you willing to be wrong about things that you have held very dear? Because real talk, that's what it's going to take. And that's that part about becoming an energetic match. It sounds very nice and frou-frou, like, let's become an energetic match. And we do the visualization and we sit there and we, like, have a little moment where we're like, oh my God, it's so great. I love it. I want to be an energetic match because it feels so good. But the truth is as well that becoming an energetic match to what you desire also means having the beliefs of the person who achieves that thing. And I guarantee you some of those beliefs are different to what you have right now. But the beliefs that you have right now feel comfortable to you and they feel true to you. So 4 years ago, I mean, I still believed, like, yeah, rich people are shady and shallow. And I hate people who are just focused on money. You might be even listening to me talk about this and be getting that sort of trigger where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she's talking about money. I'm here for the screenwriting. I'm here for the art. I want to make a movie. I mean, you might be that person. Or you might be sitting here thinking, yeah, there's something here. Rich people step on others, yeah. But you have these beliefs, whatever it is that you want, I guarantee you, you're telling yourself some stories right now that are blocking it. So 4 years ago, I decided, I was like, you know what? My desire to achieve the dream is bigger than my need to be right. And this is what needs to happen. And ask yourself this, is my desire for my dream bigger than my need to be right? Because if your need to be right about what you believe about the world right now is stronger than your desire for your dream, guess what? You're not going to get the dream. We have to be willing, in order to create big dreams, to see that maybe all our beliefs are not true. And that's not an easy or simple thing to do. It's like, don't tell me that. But when you get this, you'll get it. And for me, 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? My desire to make this outcome happen is bigger than any desire or need to be right. I am willing to be wrong about everything. I am willing to really shift my beliefs on all these things. And I started doing that work. And it is work because you have patterns of beliefs. They are habits. You have triggers all over the place. You look at something and you immediately get some sort of reaction inside yourself. Isabel, that's so funny. I'm thinking it's kind of true. Rich people are superficial, right? They're snobs. They're not good people. And some are. And the truth is, of course, some rich people are superficial. Some poor people are superficial, right? I mean, some rich people are assholes. Some poor people are assholes. But we have to be willing in this process, and this is that thing, the energetic match part of the puzzle. It's not a simple part of the puzzle, right? It's not just that I get to visualize the good things and just be in the vibe, and if I'm in the vibe, then it'll happen. It's also, I really need to be willing to take an inventory of the beliefs that I have and to shed the ones that are not serving me and to question them and to show up to do the work of making those shifts because I know that they're deeply ingrained in me. And right now they're in my subconscious mind. And as long as they're planted deep in my subconscious mind, they're going to win. But the moment you decide that your dream is bigger than your desire, your need to be right, it's game on. It's game on. There's nothing to stop you. So in my own journey from the last 4 years, from that moment, I started doing the inner work. Got something going by. And I started just shifting things internally. But there's no proof. I mean, there's nothing happening in my world. There's nothing like, oh my God, I've shifted my views and suddenly I've got this big bank account. This was not how it happened. It's like nothing, nothing, nothing. I was suddenly like, maybe I could start an online business because I taught a lot of live programs in person, but I'd never done anything online before. I sat down and thought maybe this would be a good way. When I started out, I remember, I was like, if I could get $10,000 in a month, it would just like, is that even possible? Well, since then, I've had $36,000 months. That's the highest that I've had so far with my online business, but it blew me away. And what I know is that whatever you dream of is possible. 3 years ago, I went on vacation with my husband and children to Sitges, Spain. And Sitges is this place that's just always been in my heart. I first went there in 1991. And the minute I got there, I was just like, I'm at home. I love this place. 1991. 31 years ago. Is that possible? Am I that old? And I ended up living in Barcelona. So Sitges is just south of Barcelona. It's 30 minutes away. And I kept going there through the 90s. Through the 90s, I probably spent about a year there in total. And then in 2000, I moved back there. And I lived there for 5 years. It's where I wrote my first screenplay, was in Barcelona. Thank you. And I just loved it so much. And I never planned to move to America. I wrote my screenplay and things just happened. It wasn't it wasn't a conscious desire to move there. It was a conscious desire that took me to Spain to live there in the early 2000s. It was 100% like, I want to live there. Like, this is where I feel good. I love living there. It was not that when I moved to America. It was completely, it just sort of, things just happened. Life just swept me along. I went to sell my first screenplay. It sold. I met the man who's now my husband, and I fell in love. I got hired for a dream job. Things just happened. And suddenly it was like my life is in America. And I loved my years there, and I'm so grateful for them. But I feel right now, and this is that thing about conscious co-creation, deliberate creation of your life. When I went 3 years ago back to Spain, it was like, where have you been? This is for me. And fortunately, but of course, my husband felt the same. He had never been there before, but he just absolutely fell in love with it. Now, 1 year ago, so we hatched the plan then. So from 3 years ago, we were like, okay, one day we would like to move to Spain, like one day, because we just couldn't imagine ourselves getting old in Denver. It just didn't feel aligned at all. We're like, okay, one day we will move to Spain. And then it turned into, okay. And this is that thing about the process of your dreams and the alchemy of them. There's a beautiful stage where it's just like a dream and it's vague and it's like, what if, like one day, what if one day we could move there? And then it starts to click into something though that's a little bit more tangible, where it's like, okay, well, when would be a good time for us to make the move? And we started talking, we were like, well, if the kids get into high school, we wouldn't want to move them once they get into high school. That would be hard. So ideally we want to do it before they get to high school. And then we're like, okay, it's like the time is narrowing. And then we were sort of thinking that we would probably aim for when my older son finished elementary school. We were like, okay, maybe that's a good time. This was all based just around him. But then last summer we were on vacation in Mexico, and we were at the beach. And I just, that thing where I was just like, I was so happy. I am meant to be by the sea. I am a sea witch, 100%. Like, that's my thing. So I was swimming in the sea every day, and I said to my husband, I was like, what are we waiting for? Let's move to Spain. What are we waiting for? And the big thing that came through for us was my husband, he was working for the city of Denver, and it was like, well, he had one more year to go, and then he could get early retirement. And we went, well, that kind of makes sense. It'd be crazy to leave now and not get that, so it was like 1 year. So last summer is when we really hatched the plan. We said, okay, 1 year from now we'll move. I hired my coach, Joanna, and I've worked with many different coaches, but I hired a coach called Joanna Hunter last September. And I said, the first thing I said was, okay, my dream is to move to Spain next year. And right now it feels so far-fetched, and it just felt incredibly out of reach. I mean, it still felt like, because something that I was clear about was I wanted to do it in a particular way. Okay, we could move to Spain tomorrow. We could just like leave all our stuff, like burn our stuff or give it away, and go. But I just was like, I wanted to go and just do it in a way that feels good and supported, and just that feels nice, that's easy. And that felt far away. That was like, how's this going to happen? But this is that thing with the dream and the alchemy of dreams. You hold your desire. You get really clear about it. You trust that it's coming to you. And you act as if, and a big part of trust, it's not you saying that you trust. It's you taking actions as if the thing is happening. Like, your trust has to be so solid. It's not just like me saying to you, I really believe I'm going to make this happen. It's like, I really believe it to the extent that I've just spent multiple five figures, hiring a coach to help me make this happen. Right? 5 figures that could have been spent on the move, but I'm investing in this because I know that this is going to help me just get my alignment completely straight. It's that level of trust. It's the level of trust that is like, okay, let's start doing the things, put the deposit down on this, make this happen. You start to figure out the plan, but it's like, as you're figuring out your plan and you're implementing it, are you showing up as if the thing is going to happen? Or are you showing up to it as if it's like, well, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't? And if you do that, it's inevitable that you'll make it come true. I'm still in this moment, like it's crazy to me. Thank you, Belle. Yeah, it is. So then at the beginning of this year, we started really looking at houses, like really just spending our whole time on this website, Idealista, which is like the Spanish Zillow or Redfin or whatever. I don't know what you have in the UK or in Australia, but these sites that have all the houses. You can click on them and click on the maps and see what's for sale in that area and all that. And so we became obsessed. My husband and I have just been obsessed since the beginning of the year. And it just seemed, at the beginning of the year, the price range that we were looking at, we were just talking about this last night, we've ended up buying a house that's like double what we thought we would do at the beginning of the year. Double. And the house that we're buying, I can't even believe we're moving into it September 21st. And it's that thing again about alignment, that this house, it just ticks all the boxes, like everything about it is perfect, down to there's an elevator for when my family come to visit, because my dad has mobility issues. as does my sister right now. So I wanted a house that people could come and visit and stay with me. My family can come and stay. So there's a guest apartment in the house. There's a freaking elevator for people with mobility issues. I'm just like, oh, I can't believe it. Swimming pool, sea views, all of the things. And when I saw this house at first, I just thought that's way too, like, you know, it's out of reach. Like, we'll never make that happen. And here we are, we're in the process. Now, one of the magical things that's happened in that was, like, it's the timing of things. And this is, like, mind-blowing. So I booked, like, months ago, elevator. Yes, I know, it's so funny, right? We're moving into a house with an elevator. But for my family, it's not like some sort of, like, crazy luxury thing. There were just lots of houses that we looked at that, you know, there's a lot of steps in them. And I was like, my family couldn't visit. They wouldn't be able to get in the house. You know, never mind get to a bedroom in it. But it's just incredible. But when I started this plan, like I bought tickets for us to go to Spain on August 21st. And I just pulled that number out of the hat. Like, there's no reason for us to land on that particular day. It's just sort of like, okay, when could we go? And I knew I wanted to get there before the boys start school, so they have a couple of weeks. And this is the thing about the alchemy of dreams, right? Like, you show up, you have plans, you implement, you trust your instincts. You don't know if things are going to work out. I then rented an Airbnb for the first month. So I thought, we'll have a month to look for somewhere to live, because at this point I was thinking, we'll probably then need to rent somewhere else before we buy a house, or we might need to, you know, who knows? But I thought we'll never be moving, be in an Airbnb for a month and move into our permanent home. There will be some other thing in between, maybe another Airbnb, whatever. So we rented that for 1 month. Well, the house that we're buying, the current owner is renting it out for the summer. And so there's holiday makers staying in it during the summer. And it literally becomes free and we can move into it on September 21st, exactly 1 month after we arrive in Spain, exactly the day that we have our Airbnb until. Now, I don't know about you. I like, for me, I don't know if you're listening and thinking, well, whatever. This blows my mind. I'm like, really? The exact day that we would need to move out of the Airbnb, we can move into our permanent home. I have no words for it. I'm just like, this is incredible. But this is the alchemy of dreams. This is the magic of making our dreams come true. And this is like when we actually tap into this process, when we really get it, when we embody it, it's inevitable that your dreams will come true, and they will come true in this aligned way, in this easy way, in this graceful, elegant, are you kidding me way, because of all of this synchronicities. Exactly. So I'm going to wrap this up soon. We've been here for over an hour. I think I just heard my kids coming back. They've been at the swimming pool for the last hour. So it's going to get crazy in here in a second. But there's a couple of things I just want to say. One, on Sunday, we are starting the secret key. This is my first time ever teaching a program on manifestation. And I think I was born to do it. I am not lying when I say, I feel like everything in my life has led me to this moment. And I feel like what we are going to experience together in that container, in the secret key, is going to be extraordinary. If you have been somebody who has, you've studied the law of attraction before, but somehow it doesn't work for you, or you've been suspicious of it, skeptical of it. What is this stuff about the law of attraction and manifesting? I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. Wherever you are on this scale, or maybe you are a manifester, but you're still not getting quite the results you want. This is going to be the course of all courses. It's going to be just such an incredible thing. We start on Sunday. There's 4 sessions next week, live sessions, Sunday, Monday, and then Wednesday, Thursday. Then we have a break for 1 full week. So those 4 sessions I'll be doing from Scotland. And then we'll be picking up again from Spain to do the final 4. This is going to be something, it's not the theory of manifestation. This will be an experience. I want you in real time during the program to experience the power that you have as a manifester, and to anchor it in and to lock it in and to access it in a way that you know from forevermore how to work this. And you will have total faith in your ability to do this. So that's what that's about. And if you want to do that, the easiest way for me to tell you right now is go to dianebell.com/magic, and it's got all the programs that are coming up over the next 4 months, and you can sign up for any of them, but you can sign up for that. Oh, thank you, Christina. I appreciate you. So that's one of them, right? The secret key. Now, I wanted to talk about, though, another thing that I have on offer. And there's different bundles at the moment. There's different ways to work with me. But one of the bundles that I have that I just really want to mention here today, that because my mind is blown about this bundle. I'm just like, if I had heard about this a couple of years ago, I would have just been all over it. Like, I just love this bundle. So it's called the Big Money Breakthrough Bundle. And my idea behind this is for you if you actually desire to scale or even build an online business to multiple 5 figures every month soon. Like, your timeline is, I want to do this soon, not in 2 years' time, but I want to hit the accelerator on this. So the Big Money Breakthrough Bundle is, first of all, the programs I'm going to teach for the next 4 months. So you get access to the secret key. You get access to the Creatrix codes coming in September. You get access to the Freedom Formula, which is coming in October. The Freedom Formula is where I teach you how to build and scale an online business that you are madly in love with and that will completely set you free. Because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be buying this house. I wouldn't be moving to Spain if I didn't have an online business. I am obsessed with what online businesses can mean for women and artists at this moment in history. I'm just obsessed with it. So Freedom Formula is coming in October. You can just buy that if you want. You can just be in that experience, and it's on pre-sale. But this bundle, you will get that. And then you'll also get, in November, the Abundant Artist, which is going to be a 21 rewiring about money and creativity. So you'll get all 4 of these programs. That's great. That covers the energetics as well as the practicals, because the Freedom Formula is a very practical program. There's some energetics, but it's also like how you do the things, how you can scale, how you can set up the programs, all that stuff. So you get energy and practical. The other thing that you get in the Breakthrough Bundle is that you will get 4 months of one-to-one Voxer coaching from me. What that means is Voxer is this walkie-talkie service. And I realize some of you in my group are like, what the hell is this Voxer thing? So the way that this works is you leave me a message and I listen to it and I can respond to it, right? And so I am leaning towards preferring this to actually sort of like 1-hour Zoom calls, coaching sessions. I like those, but I also feel sometimes we're just like, there's a lot of filler in them. I'm really here for people who like, you want to move, you want to get results, you want like help. It's not for sitting talking about things for 5 hours or talking it out. That's not the point of Voxer, really. It's like, okay, Diane, I'm doing this, but I'm just wondering, could you give me some feedback on this, right? Diane, I'm trying to set up this, but it's not working. What do you think? How do I navigate that? So it's really like, it's just great. And you can leave me a message and I get back to you. I do the Voxer Monday to Friday right now. So in this Big Money Breakthrough Bundle, you get the programs, but you also get one-to-one coaching from me for 4 whole months. In addition to this, as part of it, I want to help you with your business, right? This is about building or scaling an online business. So this is like business coaching. And what I would love to do for people who are in this big money breakthrough bundle is also actually look at your plans, your business plans, and give you feedback on them. So what are you planning to launch? What are you launching? And what is your product suite? What are all the different things that you're doing? What I know to be true about online businesses is that anything can work. If your goal is to make $20,000 in 1 month with your online business, there's a number of options. You can sell one package for $20,000, right? Sell one thing to one person and get $20,000. You could sell 4 things for $5,000 and get that, right? You could sell 20 things for $1,000. So there's all these different paths to getting that. And that's really like, we will just make sure that you are actually creating the paths that will get you the result that you desire. Because hoping to have a $20,000 month, but only selling one thing that's $500 is not going to get you there. So we will work on your business in a very clear way. What I'll get you to do is email me all the stuff, then I'll go into Voxer and we'll just chat it out. Also, you will get a social media audit from me. So I'll be looking at your content and giving you feedback. You know, we want to up-level your social media. There's no doubt if you have an online business, the social media is the way to connect with people. So we will look at that and make sure that you are attracting the right people in the right way and that you are on fire with your social media. So that's going to be part of it too. You will also get a special exclusive training that I created that's just fast cash injections. Now, I am all about like long and sustainable growth with an online business. I don't believe in just sort of like, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not about like building something or scaling something that's like for 1 month or 2 months and like, let's do it fast and make lots of money. It's not that. This is really about unlocking your true potential as a teacher, as a coach, and scaling a business, building a business that will set you free and that will also create beautiful impact. And it's for the long term. It's not a quick fix thing at all, right? At all. So if you're like thinking about this and you're like, I'd love to do this, I'd just love to make some money. It's not about that. It is about that, but it's not about that, because it's really like, I have things to teach. I have things to share. I have things to coach on. I have wisdom and I have experience and I have skills that I can share that would enhance and increase other people's capacity to live their lives in the way they want to, right? And that's the starting point, it has to be. But it's like, I also want to be paid well for it. I want to receive what my work is worth. So that's another part of it, but it's not a get rich quick scheme. But one thing that I would say is when we have these businesses, sometimes you need to make some cash fast. Like sometimes that is important. And so there is a special training that you will get that's just on that. So this is the big money breakthrough bundle. I'm so excited. I've never offered this before. This one is, if you want to pay in full, it's $4,444, or there is a payment plan, which is 5 payments of $888. So if you're interested in it, jump in. This is like a bigger investment because it's a bigger return on your investment. I mean, for real, if you desire to scale to $20,000 months, this is a incredible return on investment. Incredible. So check it out if you desire that. You can send me an email. Just send me a DM and I will send you the link for it, and you can see if you want to jump in, if it feels aligned. I think it would be ideal for somebody who already has a business, who's in the early phases of an online business. It's probably not for you if you're completely new to the business. I mean, it would be good too. If you're starting up an online business and it's your first time, it would work too. But if you've already got one, but it's just not quite at the level that you want it to, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so that's who I would say that's for. If you are absolutely new to the online business, I would definitely recommend the Freedom Formula. So that's coming in October. You can find that at dianebell.com/magic. All right. So these are just ways, these programs, everything that I've designed for the coming months is around really achieving your dreams. It's all about that. I believe for myself, this is what we're here to do on this planet. I believe the more of us who honor our dreams, live for our dreams, go after our dreams, the better our planet gets. It raises the frequency of our planet. I talked about this in the Alchemy of Dreams Part 1, that I believe what happens is an alchemy of your soul. That it's not just about the external world and what we manifest in the external world, it's who we become on the process of that really matters. The person who's willing to change their beliefs, the person who's willing to be wrong and ask new questions and do things in a new way, to make big moves, to take big risks, to do things that feel scary, but we do it out of a place of trust and belief. And when we do that, we unlock magic in our own lives and then collectively in the world. Because each one of us who alchemizes our own souls, and you think about the idea of alchemy, that we become gold, I believe we're all like a thread in a massive tapestry in this world. And if we can turn ourselves and our lives into gold, then we are adding gold to the tapestry. And the world becomes better, the tapestry becomes better. We are the stuff that dreams are made on, yes. I totally agree with you, and that's what I say to my friends. The world will be better if we follow our dreams, 100%. If every human being on this planet, and this is that thing that I mean about honoring our true desires, because for all of us it is different. For each of us on this planet, there's a different set of desires. And it's if we're absolutely honest about what we want, and then we go after it with all our hearts, with all our passion, and we alchemize our own souls in the process of making these dreams come true, then the world would just be so beautiful. Okay, that's it. That's what I have for you today. Does anybody have any questions just before we wrap up? There's no children yet, so you have a minute before the kids come back. It must have been someone else's kids running down the hallway. If not, that was Shakespeare. Yes, it was. No questions. All right. This is an easy gig. So there's no questions. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to take this off though. I'm going to show you my beautiful view just so you can all be like, what? Edinburgh is amazing. So here is the castle. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And there's the whole skyline from here. And there's a whole bus full of people. The city is so busy right now with all the tourists. We're a quiet bunch. I know, this was a quiet bunch. Lovely to see you live. It's lovely to see you too. Yes, Jenny V, it is early. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here with me live. I hope this has got some of your juices flowing. I hope to see you in the Secret Key. We start Sunday live. So join me then. It's going to be magic. Oh, I know. Yeah, festival season. Exactly. We're going to go. Last night we went to a tattoo. Today, this afternoon, I'm taking the kids to a kids show. It's like a pirate show. My husband and I did manage to go see like some grown-up theater the other day. Alan Cumming in Bern. It was so good. Oh my God. I'm still like, I can't stop thinking about it. Actually, it just lit me up in so many ways. Yes, Edinburgh's beautiful. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here today. Put your hand on your heart to wrap this up. Feel your power. Everything you dream of is meant for you. It's coming to you. Now you're going to step up and claim it and make it and own it. Love you. Take care, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Bye.